America, this is Mark A back in effect. Mark A stay in effect. Mark A will always be in effect.
Life is a bus, so the service a must. They make you turn up your phone before you get off the bus and make you wanna go home, dog. There's nowhere to run, so you must sleep through day 0 to get to day 1. And 9 weeks later,
what's up, America? This is Mark A back in effect, stay in effect, and always will be in effect. And we got a show for you today. Today, I'm going to be people are going to be interviewing me. Okay, my brother at arms, beyond the Reverb, D Brooklyn, is going to start interviewing and just basically talk about me a little bit. All right, D Brooklyn, thank you for coming to the show and being my host.
Yeah, man, it's an honor and pleasure to be here on the Apex 07 show and have the opportunity to host for you for the Apex 07 show. I love what you're doing. I love what it's about, mentoring soldiers. Just to give you a little bit of background on who I am, D Brook, I'm the CEO of Beyond the Reverb, which is a campaign for mental health. So basically what Beyond the Reverb is about is communicating community issues through experience and music and healing through music. So it's just a little bit different than what Mark Reid is doing. So I'm not going to put the show about me. What I do for him, I'm the one editing these videos. I'm also a music producer. The intro, outro song, I produced that. Shout out to Rasta Dage on that, who laid down the vocals on that. So I'm just getting started right now, and with the question. So when did you join the Army?
Bro, I joined the Army back in 1990. I went to basic training October 23rd, and I went to Operation Desert Storm February 4th of 1991. Yep, and then I did 4 years, and I was gone. I was out. I retired. I ETS.
Gotcha. So why did you join?
Actually, the first time I joined, I was kind of forced into it. I went to school in Canada, high school in Canada. Graduated Pearson Collegiate High School in Scarborough, Ontario, and I had a couple of offers, and I went to this small college down in Rochester, because I had played ball over there. And the first couple of months I was there, I came back home, and my mom was like, "Hey, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Grades are low and everything else. You need to go to work or join the military." And I wasn't ready to go to work. All I wanted to do was go play ball in college and get a degree. Yeah. But next thing you know, I said, you know what? I just joined the Army. I just joined the Army. It's funny because my recruiter was like, "Hey man, you can play ball in the Army." And being a kid from New York City, from the Bronx, New York, you're like, money. You got that the dollar signs.
Yeah.
I could play ball in the Army, absolutely. I was like, okay. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. Is it paid? Why not? And I was playing basketball in Saudi Arabia when I was there, stationed there. When I was there for Desert Storm, Desert Shield, but that's about it. So I just did the 4 years and I got out.
But you joined again.
Yeah.
So what made you join again?
Well, when I graduated, when I finished the Army, ETS out the Army, and then I went to college. I went back to college. CSI, shout out to Staten Island. I went to CSI, College of Staten Island, and I was playing basketball. For the school. The second year we ended up winning the conference championship, and then we went to the Division III 64 team tournament. And then the following year, my dad passed away. He was sick, he was ill, and as I was playing basketball, going to school, and also working, and I just watched my dad leave us. Physically, not mentally, not by the heart, especially mine.
I got you.
That team concept. I was kind of up and down. On the low. Then I went overseas for a year. It was a year, but I got cut like 6 months. And then I came back and I was working as a pharmacy technician and at a city university, a city hospital in New York. And then I was also working at Home Depot,
Huh.
part time. Yeah, so
Hey,
I
you
was
got to
doing
do what
two.
you got to do.
Absolutely, I was doing 2 jobs. And I quit school. Just doing 2 jobs, and that's it. But then the thing about it was like I was like I missed that team concept.
Yeah.
Playing basketball. Building a team, winning. I missed that team concept. Also, I seen in the city of New York, guys who was working there for like 30 years, 30, 35 years,
Yeah.
and they knew more than the pharmacy technician. You know what I mean? They
Huh.
knew more than the pharmacist, but they were getting paid like less. And one particular day, it was at lunchtime, and one of the guys, he's 35 years, and the pharmacist was asking him questions about, prescriptions and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I seen him at lunchtime getting a box of chicken and a 40 ounce sitting at the corner.
Mm.
And I was like, I can't be like this. So missing team concept, trying to advance instead of juggling. I was in that in between.
Yeah.
Never thought about going back in. Until a good friend of mine, DC Harden, as you were, Dr. DC Harden,
Word.
came to New York to visit me. And he said, "Hey man, I'm back in the army." And I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" So he said, "Hey, it's different. It ain't the same, and this and that." So I'm like, you know what? That threw the nugget in my ear,
Yeah.
in my head, and went down to the recruiting office to see what I can do, see what was out there. And I was coming back in as a pharmacy tech. That's what I wanted to do. And since I messed up on my first, when I was in National Guard, I messed up. So they was like, "You're going back into 13 problem." And I'm like, "Well, you know
Okay.
what? Let's do it." And went back in 2000. I missed the team concept. Things wasn't going right, the way I wanted it to go, or the way I was trying to progress to grow. And that's what made me, and just made me go back in Army.
Yeah. Did you want to be field artillery?
At first, the second time around, in 2000, I didn't. I wanted to be.
Okay.
I wanted to go in as a 15 Tango. I think it's a pharmacy technician.
Yeah.
Or 68 Tango or something like that. And
Something like that. Yeah.
and I had the qualifications, but what happened was I was in the National Guard,
Mhm.
and between college, working, and going back and forth to Toronto, Canada, to basically make sure my dad was okay, I never went to drill.
Mm.
So they discharged me with an honorable, with dishonorable or something like that. But they gave me an RE3 code. So which
Okay.
was
So basically, like it's a general, and it'll be upgraded. It's not a dishonorable discharge. So you weren't flagged from or barred
yeah,
from reenlistment back to
yeah,
active duty at no point. I
yep.
got you.
So, yeah, so what they gave me a suitability review. So I sat down, talked to a colonel, and he asked me what was going on, why did I get this, and I told him what it was, and he gave me the opportunity to come back in, and he signed the document to suitability and allowed me to come back in, and I was like, I'm not going to let him down. I'm finished. This is something I wanted to start
Yeah.
and finish and
Yeah.
finish. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people like that within the military. Once you start something, your dedication and part of your army values, you want to finish what you start, no matter what it
Yes.
is, whatever the task at hand, whatever the mission dictates, or whatever.
Yes.
So when you join the army, I'm gonna take it and rewind it back a little bit. Just questions kind of out of the blue, but I've always fascinated myself with trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Expose myself to different cultures.
Hmm.
So the army has a culture in its own. And when you mix everybody together, there's a lot of culture shock within people. I've seen people like want to touch black folks' hair from Minnesota for the first time.
So you talking like in basic training?
Yeah, in basic
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
So did you have any culture shocks, especially being from New York? being exposed to the Southern culture at all?
Yeah. It was a little bit of like, it was kind of weird, okay, so, a little bit more about my background. My family is not American. My dad is Jamaican, my mom is Trinidadian, so I have those two heritage, those two different Caribbean countries in me. So I'm a Caribbean, okay, and and then we moved to New York. When I was gonna move to New York, I mean, I grew up with all cultures, with like Asians, Italians, Irish. I mean,
Everything.
It's a melting pot, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, okay, I grew up like that, but when I came in the Army, the first thing, I remember it was like the Hell Day or whatever, when you drive the cattle truck across to the train.
Oh yeah, and you get off and then it's
and it's like all hell break loose. It's kind of different now, but back then it was some of them drill sergeants lay their hands on you. They all lay their hands.
Yeah. The shark, what they call the shark attack or whatever, what they wanted to call it.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different back then. I came in 97, so it was a little bit different from 90 to 97.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. But the first thing he said, "Hey, where you from, boy?" I'm looking at him like, hold up, like I'm just sitting there like, well, I'm from New York, drill sergeant. I'm like, sir. He's like, don't call me sir, whatever. You know how that goes. And, I said, from New York City. He said, he said, drill sergeant such and such, drill sergeant such and such. We got a city slicker, right? Yep. And I'm sitting there like, what did I do to be a slicker? You know what I mean? Like, why am I? So all of a sudden I'm like, what's the word? Targeted immediately. So they smoked the hell out of me. And then my boy Big Jack from Alabama comes. And we sitting there, we chopping it up, and the certain things that he from certain things that he did when he was growing up compared to what I did growing up, it's two different type of things.
Where was Jack from?
Jack from Alabama.
Word. Okay. So
Alabama.
Totally different culture.
Yeah, totally different, right? But certain things the certain things I tell him, he's looking at me like I'm, all crazy. You know what I mean? And then we got my partner Reid. I forgot his first name. Reagan. Reagan. He was a white guy from Michigan. But I went to Saginaw, Michigan all the time and played basketball over there. So I kind of understood him a little bit more, but like I was just like amazed of certain things or how they speak, or how they sounded. You see on TV shows, but like how they really. I'm sitting here listening to like a dude from the South talking. You know what I mean? Like, and a bunch of them are talking, and I'm like, hold up, what he's saying? But then they're asking me, "Hey man, what you say? What you just say?" You know what I mean? So it was weird, but
I feel you. They want you to say certain phrases like, "Give me some coffee" or something.
Yeah. They want me to like, what's New York? Say coffee or something like that. They'll say barn. Barn. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, to me it was nothing. It was like I'm from the city, so you see different things, different cultures, and all of that, and different languages or whatever. So it's not saying amazed, but I was just like, okay. He's from the South.
Yeah, but it's easy to adapt to because there's so many cultures within the New York area. I'm from Jersey. I grew up pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, D. Brooklyn, that's my daughter's name, Denisha Brooklyn. And named the studio after her. Went to Queens, sitting on Roosevelt Island one time, 2008, 2009, whenever, and then they just called me D. Brook the rest of the time, and it's stuck. So.
D. Brook. So I mean, like it wasn't really nothing too like. It was easy for me to adapt to. However, I'm going to for other people, they just automatically kind of like, stereotype. Okay, this guy, watch him out, watch him, and things like that.
Yeah.
Or with other cultures, I met guys from Idaho, Wyoming, and like this, Kentucky.
It's just different. It's just different, and put everything into a melting pot in one consolidation, and it's just make it work, make it happen. No matter what it is, make it happen. Yep. Basic training and teaches you like it's not about you. One person fall, you all fall. Everybody does.
And like growing up in the city, like New York City, it is New York City is a melting pot. You know what I mean?
But,
So
I mean, you know, just as well as I do, you know, a lot of people up north are selfish. There's more of a me, there's like away from me type mentality. It's like tend to. It messed me up going to Texas at Fort Hood the first time. I go in the store and I'm sitting there, have a nice day, like not slapping the damn change on the thing. It's like, hurry up and buy it. It's like, that's what I'm used to.
Yeah, but you know, as years went on and on, like I understood it. Like not saying years went on, I understood it. But then all of a sudden, I would say majority of the military is from southern states. Like you find the southern few northerners, but I started picking up their slang.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And they got some jokes too. The way they tell a joke, you can't. A person from New York, Jersey, Philly area, tri-state area. Yeah, I even put Connecticut in there. Whatever. They can't hold a candle to the way you tell a joke in the South. They make it funny as hell.
I'm gonna tell you something. This is the funniest thing, yo. You know, I love this dude to death. You know, I don't even want to say the name, but Big E, you know what I'm talking about. You know, James Earl. But he's from Gainesville, Florida. That's deep country. And I had another partner. His name was Moya.
Okay.
And Jay was single. You know, and he was asking Moya, how do you pick up a Spanish girl? Because he's from Gainesville, Florida, right? So he was like, man, you gotta learn how to speak Spanish, right? So he's like, I need you to teach me. But he was serious, but the way he said, well, I need you to teach me. You know what I mean? And he had a straight face, and everybody kind of looked at him, and then like everybody started laughing. He's like, what's funny? You know what I mean? Like, I want you to teach me, right? So he said, all right, man, you got to say, hey, mira aquí, right?
Yes.
So he's like, so Moya was telling James, the thing, and like how to say it, and he's like, okay, so he say mira aquí, and he kept saying, oh, mira aquí, and he's like, okay, that's close enough, you got it, right?
Not really.
So every day, this guy is saying meter aki, but he's saying meter, right? Meter aki, and he kept going over and over again. So everybody started calling him meter, right? Calling everybody meter because he's practicing how to call girl.
And I love the way you connected that, because just like they connected you with New York and everything, and drill sergeants and basic training wanted to message you. That's the target on the back. That's what they do in basic training. They give you and learn your vulnerabilities and use that as try to get underneath your skin to see how you're going to handle the pressure.
Yep,
that's what it's all about.
Yep. So, but the thing is, the guy, right, was saying that. Then I started saying it. So from E5 up to like E7, I'm called a meter, hey, what's that? Hey, meter, come here. And that's just something I still do it sometimes. And my wife just smacks me in my head. Throw something at me. You know what I mean? Like, so
I think you're lucky your wife's not home, because right now you probably have a chinclot there.
Absolutely.
Flying across the screen real quick.
Yeah. Like, who you call a meter, but so that's the thing that I've seen. But at the end of the day, regardless of where you're from, you said it a little bit earlier ago, regardless of where you're from, you know what I mean? Once you join that green machine, you're part of the team. And that's the thing that I was missing. That's why I came back in. You're part of the team, and only the strongest, your weakest link is just strong. You got to make him stronger. But he's also strong in something else that you might be weak at. So it's a give and take type thing. And that's what the drill sergeants basically try to teach you in basic training.
Yeah. And that's part of the leadership process.
Absolutely.
And that's where I wanted to dive into. What made you want to be a leader?
Woo! And I think it was years ago in high school. My assistant coach called me in, Coach David Lake, from Pearson High School. God rest in peace. You know what I mean? He just passed away a few months ago. But he called me in the office and said to me, he's like, Mark, you can score whenever you want to, but you got to make your other teammates better. He said, I want you to be a little general. I want you to be the little general. And he was referring that back to like Sherman Douglas back in those days, 88, 87, 88, 89. And because I'm like, I want to score and everything else. But I'm like, he said, if you do that, we will win. So I took it, I took obviously the coach. So, so I did what he asked me to do. And if we were close, I may try to take over, but I'm giving them confidence. One. And then when we ended up winning the city championship. That's what made me become a leader, because everybody was cheering. I'm cheering for everybody else because we're all happy, but everybody was actually cheering for me or cheering at me because they knew, or I felt I worked hard on being a little general, like my coach asked me to be. And I think that was introduction to being a leader right there. When I fast forward, when I came in, so I knew at a young age, but then fast forward, when I came back in, there was always somebody at a higher rank that I would try to pinpoint and try to take his values and stuff like that, and tailor it. That's what it was. But it's a different type of concept because you have to learn your job, number one, and then teach your job. Then that's when I believe that, and then that's when I believe that once you become a leader, and that's from E4 to E5. But I think my mentors is the one that kind of helped me stay in.
Rolling right with it, right? Because that's where I was going next. Who are some of your mentors?
Man, my number one mentor, I will tell you, is Christopher House. From the time I came back in, I came back into E2. I was E4, I think E4 corporal when he took over the battery in 2002, and I made E5 sergeant, and I left about a year later, and promotable, E5 promotable. But after, the thing about him was that after I left the battery and everything, and PCS, he still kept in contact with me. Or he would call wherever I'm at to check on me, see how I'm doing. If I'm kind of screwing up or whatever, he'll give me a call like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And kind of tone me down. He, from that time on, up until now, I was actually the best man of his wedding like a couple of weeks ago. Another one of my great mentors, Sergeant Major Claude Short.
Man, heard that name before.
Short. Oof, he's the man. Like, it's kind of crazy because it goes in line. And Sergeant Major House, well, at the time, first Sergeant House, Command Sergeant Major Retired House, he was the guy that made me be the hunger, the go-getter, the pusher, like the enforcer type thing. Then Sergeant Major, he was my first sergeant, but he became Sergeant Major Retired Claude Short. He was the one that kind of groomed me with my time management, 25, 50, 75, 100 meter targets. But he also pushed me to be proactive. Taught me how the little things, like, you don't know a little bit of everything instead of knowing everything about one thing. And that's something that he says, and you got to be proactive, Reid. You got to be proactive. Then it was Command Sergeant Major, what do you call it? Overton, Walter Overton. He was, I think, so Chris House, Sergeant Major Retired Chris House is a big dude, like 6'2", like they call him Brick House. Then it was Claude Short. right? Which he was actually short, you know what I mean? But like,
Literally.
yeah, but his mind was like 3 or 4 years ahead of everybody else's. Like, and that was the thing about like, you know, 3 or 4 years, I would say. You know, then it was Overton, Sergeant Major Walter Overton, Sergeant Major Command, Sergeant Major Retired Walter Overton. He was a little bit of both, but he was tall, lean, you know, came in cool, you know, empowered you, you know, empowered you, not try to power over you, empower you.
Yes.
And he taught me a little bit of patience, different type of ways to motivate at a higher echelon, like a bigger structure.
Yeah.
Yes, and then there's Christopher Howe, right? Command Sergeant retired Christopher Howe, as an OC. You know, he was the only one. There's the 3 and the 4th. This is the 4th one. Was the only one that said to me, "Hey, there's something bothering you. What's going on? You need to go fix that. But you're not going to come here and basically disrupt the battalion." And it made me start thinking. That's when it made that by being honest. That's what made me start really thinking. You know, so those are like my main four. But there's a whole bunch of other guys in there that you know, there's William Brown, you know, there's a bunch of other guys in there that, you know, that helped me throughout my career.
Yeah, well, 25 years in the military. I mean, honestly, we can go an hour just on mentorship.
There you go.
That part.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many mentors during my career that this show is not about me, but the things that I learned from mentorship, it's not about you. It's about the soldiers. What are you doing to better themselves?
Absolutely.
And if you're not bettering yourself, how do you expect your soldiers?
Absolutely. But it's not even, you know, no, man, it's so, oh my God. I was having this conversation with a couple of my brother retirees out there. You know, when they say, you know, when you say you don't want them to be better than you, you do, but what it is, you want them to know what you know at the level they're at to you, right? And that's not saying he's better than you. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of leaders think. Oh, I don't want that soldier to be better than me. Or I want that soldier to be better than me. No, it's not better than you. It's feeding him or her information, as much information as you can. Force feed, because they're going to swallow something, right?
Yeah.
But so by them knowing the level that you're at, it's when they get to that position, it's going to be easy for them to deal with it. And they're going to be, that's what, it's going to be higher ranking than you, but may not be better than you. And that's the thing.
Yeah. Well, that's something I try to teach my son, because he said some foul shit. I even say it on camera. He was looking up at the sky and he was like, "Oh, is that one plane going to crash?" You know, and this is like, not that it was like within 5 years of me losing my best friend or a helicopter crash in Afghanistan. I'm like, "The hell is wrong with you?" It was like, you don't know who them people are on that plane. What makes you better? What makes you better than them? So I pulled him to the side and I said, "Yo." Now I told him that it was my grandfather that said it, but it wasn't. It was me. But I respected my grandfather so much that I wanted to put his name into it.
Yeah.
So what I told him was like, "Who's better than you? Or who you better than? Who are you better than?" He was like, "I ain't better than nobody." Now that same token, who's better than you?
Exactly.
And he said, "I don't know." Well, if you don't know, find out that nobody's better than you. And you put those two pieces together and you have that confidence instilled in you.
Yep.
Nobody on the planet is going to be better than me. They could be better than me, but in my mindset before I do it, I'm better than them.
Yes.
But I'm not better than them either.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's a level of humility to instill the confidence in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, you already lost before you even started. That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely. You know, and that's the thing, you know, as I was coming up in rank, you know, I said this when I from when I got pinned on from E7 to E8, Sergeant First Master, and I said, you know, I would say the last 12 years of my career, I was focused on basically me. How do I get ahead? How do I get ahead?
Yeah.
But then it hit me, and this is something that I would say Overton brought to my attention. Sergeant Major Overton retired. Command Sergeant Major retired Overton.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you no more. It's about the soldiers. And that hit me. So when I said that speech, it's no more about me. I'm here now, but it's about them now. It's about me being their spokesperson, because somebody was always speaking on my behalf as I was coming up, right? So now I'm the soldier spokesperson, and I'm also the senior advisor and trainer. I'm the senior advisor to the commander and the senior battery or company trainer of the battery. So those are the type of things that I realized. Yep.
Yeah. Well, through your career, this is going to throw you for a loop. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Okay.
This isn't personal. I'm going to humanize you for a second. Was there any regrets you had through your military career?
Yeah, there's a few. Number one is maybe one or two. Certain decisions I made in my career. That's not just in the Army, but just outside or whatever. May have not been wrong. May not have been right. In the Army, I had no regrets on not of coming out in '94, because I got to see the outside world. I got to see a little bit of society a little bit, and I fulfilled the dream that I wanted to dream, which is play overseas basketball.
Yeah.
But and I met my wife. If I didn't go to college Staten Island, I wouldn't be with my wife today, right?
Yeah.
The regrets that I would have is certain decision making on as far as deployments. Certain things that certain things that commands that I had to give as a convoy commander. And maybe pay a little bit more attention to more of my soldiers, especially the ones that were getting out. And that's pretty much it. But as far as my military career no regrets.
Okay. Like I said, I before I said I got one question that I might stump you a little bit, but you got through it, and it takes courage to look deep inside yourself, to become vulnerable and humanize yourself to the public. It's just different.
Yeah.
So you transitioned out of the Army recently, within the last 7 months.
Yeah.
How was that transition different this time in retiring after 25 years than it was ETSing back in '94?
Man, transition not easy.
No, it's
especially when you're retiring. Back in '91, '94, when I got out the first time, I knew I wanted to go to college. So I had a goal. I had a set goal. I want to go back to college. I want to eventually go overseas and play semi-pro basketball. And and I was younger. So I still want to get back in the city. I want to party, a little bit and stuff like that. This time, it's that you come to realize, okay, let me back up on this. This time, I was excited to get out. I was excited. It was hey, man, I finally finished, something, a goal that my dad and my grandfather always said, that's something that you need to do. And my mom, she always said, hey, when you start something, finish to the best,
Yes.
And so that's something I was proud of myself for. Excited, going to do it up a little bit, say time is life, and all that. But as time goes on to readapt to like the main world, right? You realize that you've been institutionalized for so many years. You come out and it's like, okay, you have people hanging out, or people or you going to a bar or whatever, and they're talking a different language. And you basically you start talking, and like all you know is mission command, or hey, I gotta go to the field, I gotta gear up, RPSP, and all this and that. So coming out and having a conversation about, I don't know, the weather, whatever it may be, and you're like, what, so you kind of get nervous. Like, do you approach and say, continue talking, because you don't want to talk about the military because they're not going to understand you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're really not too interested in what the hell they, basically they're saying. So you turn off and you kind of isolate yourself a little bit.
Yeah. I love the way you put it, that the institutionalized thing, because when you look at it, I'm gonna make some jokes, but I'm dead ass serious when I say this. If you look at the way the military, the way we talk to each other through the military, I can't speak for the Air Force and too much in the Navy, but I know the Marines do it. I know that the Army does it. Mm-hmm. It's almost damn near like prison talk. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you in for? Which MOS? You know what I mean? How long you got left? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the same lingo as prison talk. And it's like you're binded by a contract. That's only different. And you took an oath instead of the oath you took in court. You know what I mean? It's just different. It's different. Yeah. But the language and the mannerisms are kind of similar as far as interacting within conversation. It's similar. And I just think that's funny how institutionalized communities do that to people. And especially 25 years in prison, 25 years in the military, getting back into society, ain't a damn thing different the way I look at it. Yeah. Except you have your family with you in our military. Yeah. You have your freedoms. That's about it. Yeah. Come on, get over. Well, kind of. Yeah. Kind of. Because part of the oath is giving up our freedom so the rest of the country can get it. Yeah. So that's the thing. So it was kind of weird. Yeah. And then you got to get adapted to your family. You got to get. That's the thing. That's one of the hardest things. I spoke to a lot of my brother retiree veterans and stuff like that, and they said the first year is the toughest year. After that, then you might be then you start doing things. Yeah. But readapting with your family, because it's very difficult. It's because you're so used to being gone. So if there's an issue or whatever, you're gone. You're like, okay, I'm in the field. Hey, sweetheart, you take care of that. I'm in the field. Or okay, I'll handle that when I get back. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now that you're around all the time, like, you're around all the time. And, you kind of may talk the military language, and your wife be like, you're not in the military anymore. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, what do I put in place for that? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, so your thought process is like, what's the word for it? So you get to talking with me or you're hosting your show, it gets you back in the element a little bit.
Yeah, and then like, I'm not one of your soldiers. You're not going to basically tell me what I need to do. And I'm like, well, you're not. Yeah, I know that you're not. No, well, let me know. So I want you to continuously knowing that, I'm not one of your soldiers. You're like, all right, So those are like the difficult aspects, that you see, or that you feel, and it goes sometimes, you get in a dark place at times. You get in a dark place because you were somebody 6 months ago, 3 months ago, or a month ago, or 2 months ago, whatever, right? Yeah. But now you're nobody. Like well, not to say you're nobody. You're not you're not at the level of importance out here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. To your family, you are, but to everybody else, they don't care. Who cares?
You got to start from scratch. Yeah, you got to start from somewhere. But part of what I loved about Sergeant Major Robinson's episode is when he said, "You've been through this before," and a lot of people tend to forget. Like it's because you're going from one situation, it's still the same environment, still the same lifestyle within the military.
Yeah.
So when you pull yourself out of that lifestyle and into another lifestyle, such as going back into society, it takes a little bit longer. It takes a lot of patience, not just for you, but the spouses and family members within the household.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of disconnect with it. And I've seen people retire, get divorced within a year.
Yep. They say it's the hardest, it's the toughest time.
It's hard.
Because you gotta the thing is that I kind of took it like, because it was up and down, but I kind of took it like this, man. It's newlywed. It's like you just got married, man.
Yeah.
That's something that I put in perspective, and I put it in perspective maybe about 4 months ago. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hold on, man, because I've been married to this woman for this long, and or two, but the thing about it is that you're getting to know her again, and she's getting to know you again.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So you guys are just getting married. Just think of it, you just get married, and you're in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a recommendation. Maybe I can't say because I'm not a specialist in that, but a recommendation to like put that in your mindset. Men and women that are getting out, just think of it as the honeymoon stage, because you're actually, you think your spouse, but you really don't, because your focus is so much on mission and soldiers and this and this and this and that she's there, you love her and she loves you. Yeah. But she's taken care of. He or she's taken care of. However, you're really married to your job, because the thing about it, people don't realize that Army's not a job. The military is not a job. It's not like a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, and you get in the car, or you get on the bus or train and go to work, and you come back home at 6 o'clock. What we do as a military personnel, which is less than 1% of America can do, is that we are a day or two ahead of you, sleeping in the sand or whatever may be, vehicles or whatever, brushing teeth and everything. So it's like, so now you have all that going on.
Mm-hmm.
When you come back home, you get, you do your 90-day and your honeymoon, and you take a couple of days leave, and then about a couple of weeks of leave or whatever, and then you come back and you're like, the last week or so, you start thinking about work. You know what I mean? So you really have a week with them, with your family, and that you're 100% with them. But now you come back and you're going to do the same thing. But this time, you're coming out.
Yeah.
You're fully out. You are retired. And it's going to be a 9 to 5er, or it's going to be 24 hours a day. And you have to try, hey, babe, honeymoon. My recommendation, go on a vacation, just you and your wife. For about a week.
There you go. Well, there's something I ETS and then joined the reserves pretty much right away, kind of, sort of. But when I ETS, I didn't realize it when I was active duty. I did 9.5 years of active duty with 3 deployments, and I just couldn't take it anymore. There's no way I would have stayed married. No way I would have saw the kids again. Not that my wife wanted to leave, but I just felt in my heart that this wasn't for me. I wanted to see my kids grow up, not from pictures and phone calls. That was my thing. But I didn't realize something with a military spouse goes through. And I'm going to say the cold, hard truth right now. If a soldier is to choose between the Army and his family, I'm sorry, the Army comes first, because that's the lifestyle.
Yes.
The spouse married into that lifestyle, and they know it. Now, once you retire, now it's all about me, all about family. When I say all about me, I'm talking in the perspective of the spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a little bit, it's difficult for us transitioning out, because now it almost feels like more of an obligation than a choice to be able to cater to your wife, cater to her needs, because now you're there. Now you have no choice, because you're. But at the same time, a lot of things you notice certain tendencies within the spouse, and the spouse knows certain tendencies with you being around all the time. There's no, okay, we only have you get off the duty day, your wife gets off of work, your husband gets off of work or whatever, and it's hard to actually know each other when you're going through life, because the military it's not a 9 to 5 job. It's 24 hours a day. You can get called at any time, and I'm not talking about deployment. Just to take a soldier, get a phone
Yep.
call of a soldier getting arrested. That's just to the extreme, or to help that soldier in need, to give him
Yeah.
guidance, give him moral support and mentorship, because he's going through some stuff. So it's just different when you pull yourself out of that lifestyle and then yank it away. What do you do from now?
Exactly.
Where do you go from now? And your mind's going a million miles away.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, everybody goes through it. Every single person that gets out of the military. I don't care if you're in 10 years, 9 years, 5 years, or 25 years. It hits a little bit different. 25 years, I can't compare my career to yours. I can't.
It's just a little bit longer, man. That's all it is.
Yeah. But the lifestyle is, the Army's not a job. It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
And we don't say my brothers and sisters in arms for nothing.
Absolutely.
It's a family.
Yep. And you know what's so funny about it though, because in the soldiers that are in today, a lot of them don't even know that. Like, this is a family, you know.
Yeah.
Because one of my first sons used to always say to me, "Embrace the suck, but we're gonna suck together. We're gonna embrace it together. We're gonna suck it together." You know what I mean? So let's embrace the suck. You know what I mean? So it's pouring down rain in flipping Fort Lewis, Washington, over pouring rain, and you got your gear on, your IBA, all this stuff on, and it weighs like maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 pounds or whatever, but 40, 50 pounds is being on you, and you're sitting there in the rain. Embrace it. So you may not like this person or that person, but you're both embracing the same thing together. You know what I mean? So
you're not the only one. That's where the team factor is almost unmatched in the military, because you could be on a football field together, you could be on a basketball court together. It's just 5 of y'all on the court, and you got or you have 13 players all together, or whatever. It's just different when especially on a deployment. It changed perspectives in a way you'd never see or even fathom, to try to compartmentalize. And for instance, 2003, right?
Yeah.
We're going to Iraq. Nobody in the shop liked each other. I mean, I got along with like 1 or 2 people, but nobody really got along. We didn't hang out with each other. We got back from Iraq.
Like this.
We had somebody's house every single day.
That's right.
Not every day. Like a weekend came, before they come, we're at somebody's house barbecuing every single weekend. Not every day, but
it gives me
it was different.
D-Bro, you said a question, before, name a few of my mentors. I forgot to name the number one. I said Christopher House was my number one mentor, but I would say this is a 0.5, okay? Which is like, I would say the number one. And this is something that I just hit. It just really hit me, because you said, name a few of my mentors, and I forgot to name the most important, or 2 most people, right?
Okay.
The soldiers. Soldiers are my mentors. And let me elaborate on that.
Yeah,
and the reason why I say the soldiers are my mentors.
Yep.
It's only one of you, right? And it's 12, 40, 100, maybe 120 of them.
Yeah.
And this is, I'm going by Staff Sergeant E7, Staff Sergeant, Sergeant First Class, Master Sergeant, on and on. The soldiers, because I learned something from, especially when I was a first sergeant, I learned something from each one of my soldiers. Something. So they giving you more knowledge than you can give them, because there's only one of you. And it's a variety of them. So they're my number one mentors.
Yeah. You sitting outside, you sitting in front of it, all eyes on you. Not trying to be like Tupac or nothing, but all eyes are on you, front and center. When you're speaking, whether it's your platoon sergeant or first sergeant or command sergeant major or whatever, you get in front of that formation, they're going to know, should I say, they're going to know what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, what you're looking for, and it's the level of expectations that they put on us as leaders that you don't realize until you're put in that position. Because we don't, like when I'm thinking like first like 5 or 6 years or whatever, I'm sitting in formation, I'm like, give a damn what like on a Friday or whatever, last formation thing, get going what was it called? Remember that?
COB, close out formation.
No. Remember that? But payday activities?
Oh yeah. They still do that. They still do it. They still do it. Yep.
But not payday activities and all, giving you a safety brief for the weekend or whatever. Man, I'm like, man, I'm just trying to get the hell out of this formation. Fuck what first sergeant saying. You know what I mean? It's like captain's running his mouth. No, but there's a level of expectation of when there's information being put out that doesn't really apply to you, but it does because it applies to every single soldier. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean don't beat your wife, don't beat your kids type thing. You know, it's a lot of joking around with people saying that in a formation, but just because you don't have a family or you're living in a barracks and no drinking and driving, that applies to everybody. But with that said, even if you don't drink, you could be that DD. You could be that designated driver. So it does apply to you because you're looking out for your buddy. You're looking out for your brother. You're looking out for your sister. It's a family. It's not none of that. It's none of this. Oh, you don't realize it when you're going through it until you have time to reflect, and it's like, what the hell just happened?
Hey, so I did this. So this is when I was the first sergeant. This is what I did, man. I used to go to COB formation, whatever, Friday, do 22 push-ups. Everybody knows 22, deuce, FA, right?
Yep.
I said, okay, boy, get down right quick. Kimchi want to get on camera. Say hi, Kimchi. Say hi.
Kimchi.
So I used to say the opposite. I used to say, hey, I know y'all gonna drink, okay? I know you guys gonna drink in the barracks. I know you guys gonna underage drink, and it's okay. Go ahead and do it. You know, just don't get caught. Point blank. You know what I mean? And
don't let me find out about it. Don't let it on the bottom report. Yep.
Just don't get caught. You know, I'm not coming to your rooms, okay? You know, you wanna be like dirt balls, you're gonna be like dirt balls. But if I get some sort of report that something going on, then then we're gonna make sure that it don't happen again, right? Yeah. But I used to encourage them to drink in formation, like go ahead and drink. I'm a drink, you know what I mean? Because I'm like go ahead and drink. 'Cause I'm a drink, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go see the spirits, right? But it's so funny because I know, like I was in their position at one particular time, right? So, and the thing is like I was them, you know, some years ago or whatever, right? So I understand. Like nobody wants to hear like, okay, yep. First song's gonna say, okay, if you're underage, don't drink. We about to get it. You know what I mean? Or stay at somebody else's house, right? You know, but so I used to like, nah, man, go ahead and do it. I'm doing it. You know what I mean? You get caught. You know what I mean? That's punishment. You know, punishment's accountable for you. You a man. I'm gonna treat you like a man.
That part. Treat them as adults. They're gonna act like adults.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is. You know how it is. And that's the thing I love about you, because you never forgot where the hell you came from. Mm-hmm. You remember what it's like to be a private. You remember what it was like on a 4-day weekend. You put in for your pass. You go to Vancouver or something. You go down to Oregon or whatever.
Yeah.
And you party it up.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, I used to be the same thing.
Just don't be stupid about it.
It's gonna be stupid. Be adults. You know.
Yeah.
Because you come back messed up, guess what? The entire battery's messed up. You know what I mean? Point blank. You know. So just think of each other, you know, as well. Think of each other and be a team. If somebody's out there and they drinking, hey, tell them to slow it down. grab them or something. Let's go to the room, man. Oh, hey, let's leave. You know what I mean? And that's what this was. And the thing about it, I was so blessed because the soldiers in that battery, not one alcohol incident, not one alcohol incident, nothing like that. And it was like, hey, first one, you don't ever go to the barracks. Why should I? Well, you got to check on your soldiers. Why? Like, I don't want the motherfuckers coming to my house, so why I'm gonna go to their house? You know what I mean? Like, I used to hate that. Like, seriously.
Now I gotta go to the provost marshal and pick this up. Like, come on now. Now you inconvenience me.
Yeah, and if they say,
but I understand if certain instances, like there's one thing I do love about the military within the family atmosphere of it is if you have 5 dudes and 1 female, 9 times out of 10, them 5 dudes
gonna take care of that female.
And when I take care of it, take care of it.
Yeah,
that female, ain't nobody with this female in the club, at the bar, whatever. She's one of us, one of the guys.
Period.
And that you see it within the civilian sector and within society within America, but you don't see it where it's within the Army values. You don't see the selfless service that in society that people are willing to, especially young folks. You go to a college party as a college student, and it's a free for all. It's like, hey, I'm just trying to get some pussy, blah, blah, this and that. It's like whatever, It's like this chick. Oh, she with you? All right, she with me now. You know what I mean? That's how the mentality is. It's just different, and I love the fact that, and not the fact, but I love how the camaraderie gets pushed past racism, past sexism. It's just we all bleed red, we all wear green.
Yep. Period. Yep. That's it.
Is there racism in the military? Absolutely. Is it relevant? Is sexual assault and sexual harassment still a problem within the military? Absolutely.
Yes.
But there are measures that outside of that family, that's where a couple people slip through the cracks, and it's us as leaders. And I don't give a damn if you're anyone. You're a leader.
Yep.
You fuzzy or whatever.
Yep. I raise that. And, that's the funny thing that you say. Once you raise that hand, you are a leader. You know what I mean? This is something I say to myself all the time, and I used to tell some of my soldiers. It's not that I'm better than you. No, I'm not better than you. What it is the fact that I have a little bit more experience, at what we do, right? In this job, I had a little bit more experience than you do, right? So I'm not better than you. And in fact, I turn back and I go back and say the soldiers were my mentors because, like, I'm going to learn something from you, something. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just the way that is. You know what I mean? But people are people. You got measures. You basically don't uphold those measures, and you try to do outside. You go to Article 15 or field grade, or you go into a court martial, which in the last year or two when I was in, I've never seen so many court martials. I've heard of so many court martials been going on. And it's saying, I'll say to myself, like, you know the rules. You know what I mean? Just don't break them. If you break them, then you something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Follow. You're an ambassador to the United States. When you put on a uniform, you're an ambassador to the United States. Just do the right thing. That's all you gotta do. Don't try to make quick money or do something because you're gonna get caught. Point blank. You're gonna eventually get caught. But just do the right thing. Just do the right thing.
This is a little off topic. So it's been a little bit. It's been about 7-8 months or 6-7 months before you retired. So do you miss it?
I ain't gonna lie to you, I do. I miss the soldiers.
Yeah.
The people at the level, where I was at, don't miss that. You know what I mean? But I miss the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I go back and I miss my mentors. I go back and say to my mentors, because I got to learn something from each person each day. If it's some sort of anything, culture, religion, whatever, maybe something, how to draw something or how to make some, computer, how to like get a statistic chart better, things like that, right? And I miss training them. I miss mentoring them to know what I know or try to teach them as much as I know to them. Yeah. I miss that. But the people at the level with the meetings and the conversations and articulating each other and stuff like that, that I don't miss. That I don't miss. You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about, dude. I'm sorry I had to laugh because I remember that story you was talking about in Korea, and you were sitting there and the major's laughing at you because they said some word and you had to look it up.
Yeah,
type it on the screen.
Yeah, like
he's using GPS and Googling that shit right on the spot.
Yeah, 3 different majors and they're using these words, and I'm like, hold on, sir. I got a big screen TV in my office, and I'm typing in the word and Googling it, saying, okay, what does this mean? And I read it, and I'm like, okay, so what does that have to do with the daggone thing? You know what I mean? A plus B equals C. 1 plus 1 equals 2. But let's keep it simple, man. You know what
I mean? Oh no, I would have been rolling if I was in that meeting. There's no way I would have had to leave. I would have had to leave.
Yeah.
I would have had to leave, go smoke, come back. There's no way I would have. No, like, no way.
What? Like, yo, okay, I'm sitting there like, hold on. What does that have to do with this, sir? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like things like little funny jokes like that. I like those are the type of stuff that I miss. You know what I mean? I miss.
It's just it's just different. And just like you said, we're all embracing the same stuff. It didn't matter whether you're in the field, you're sitting in the same what people might think is bullshit meeting. Some of them last a little bit too long because you got the one dude talking, asking questions like, dude, we're trying to get this out of here.
Yeah. Like, man, another, you said this was one of the things I kind of sort of like regretted. Like when I, as a first on, when I, the guys in the field, dudes, like, really taught me a total different respect of units.
Yeah.
Force comm units, they hit the road, they're in the field, maybe a month, or NTC or JRTC or whatever, come back, recover or whatever. Then they got 3 different phases, right? Red, green, amber cycles, right?
Yeah.
But in this unit right here, I'm gonna give them credit, man, because they're in the field every day.
Yeah.
Every day they're in the field.
Some element within them, yeah.
And they gotta do PT in the morning and everything else. Yeah, they go home every night, but like when they go home, like how much time do you think they're gonna spend with their family? Because they've been in the field from 6 o'clock in the morning up until 19, 20 at night.
Yeah, maybe an hour.
Yeah. So
wash your ass and bang one out. Do whatever you got to do, and just get and tuck them in. And that's it.
Yeah, and doing PT in the morning, and that's the thing. I was like, damn, it was crazy. It was absolutely nuts. But now I just say to myself, is like, again, we go back to that transition phase. It's a different type of challenge, So and that's a difficult time because that challenge is easy because you've been doing it for so long. But coming out, again, going back to the beginning, institutionalization, coming out and trying to get adapted to society 1 and family 2, you know what I mean, and friends 3.
Yeah.
So it weighs, and sometimes I say to myself, like, I'd rather go to the field and deal with some of this, like how I think or how people think or whatever I hear.
Yeah.
But that's something to get adapted to, and that's one thing. Sonic Robinson said last week. We've done it before. Yes, we've done it before. But now you're doing it permanently, but not. And now you're doing it with people that don't have the same language as you or same thought process as you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's harder because this is it. You know what I mean? You know, you go to another job, but you're still going to be talking that military twang and all this and this and that. They're going to look at you like, that doesn't make sense to you. That doesn't make sense here. Well, it actually does. No, it doesn't. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Those little things that I miss.
Well, my next part of this, I want to get into, if I quote somebody, I pay respect, and I give credit to where I get it from.
Yeah.
So this is coming from what your man's
Mm-hmm.
D Webb, Bearded Beast Mode.
That's my man.
Right?
Yep.
That's your man's. Good dude. Good dude.
Yeah.
What is your zen? What do you do to center yourself and find your peace?
You know, at first I came out and I was meditating and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I found out it works, you know, reading a verse from the Quran, you know, getting up and meditating and stuff like that, and prayer. Then, you know, it's like sit back, have a sip, listen to music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something like now I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out what is the actual, what is it? Because it changes all the time.
Yeah.
Like outside here, everything kind of changes all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I found it yet. You know, I'm doing my Apex 07 show, this show right here, because I still want to keep close to the community.
Yeah.
I still want to keep close to the soldiers. I still want to keep close to my brothers and sisters at arms. You know, some years that I was in, some years, you know, before I retired, before I got out.
Yeah.
And guys are getting ready to retire. Guys and gals are getting ready to retire right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of my zen. You know, I you know, talking to guys, talking to people. You know, I have different ideas, you know, that I can actually go forward with, but I don't think I've really found it yet.
Yeah.
I don't think I've really found it yet.
But you didn't stop yet.
No.
Exactly. That part.
Yeah.
You don't stop.
No.
And as long as you keep searching, it'll eventually come.
Yep. And that's the thing. I don't like, you know, I'm not going to sit down and be like, oh, I'm depressed. No. You know, this time you get up in the morning, you're feeling a little down. You know what I mean? Absolutely. You know, like, damn, I wish I was in PT right now and stuff like that. But, you know, you keep always searching for some sort of ideas or some sort of like projects. Some people go back to work. You know, recommendation when you transition, take 90 to 100, take at least 6 months off, man. Get it out of you. You know, advanced party. Just, you know, throw your name out there, do a couple of job interviews if you choose to work, you know, do things like that. But just don't jump into another job like immediately. Take a break. That's so right now I'm still like at my 6 months, not even March, April, May, June, July, 5 months. 5 months. I'm gonna try 5 months. Yeah.
There's an adjustment period. And we discussed it already. It is difficult, but we find little trinkets, little things in our lives that we can attach ourselves to, and to be able to make sense of what we just did within our careers, and to find out what we need to do to better ourselves.
Yeah.
What advice or what kind of mentorship would you give to the new set of retirees getting out and retiring in the next couple of months or even year from now?
Okay. First thing I would say is this. Number one, have a plan. You choose to work, you know, I wouldn't throw my resumes out there until maybe 6 months out. Anywhere between 3 to 6 months before you take terminal leave or you retire. Around that time frame. Make sure that your finances are straight. pay off bills or whatever you need to pay off. Then basically choose where you want to go, choose where you want to live.
Yeah.
Once you come out, I would say take, again, 90 to 120 days off. Don't do, for the first month or two, first couple of weeks, you're going to be excited. You're going to be like you're on leave. But then at week 3 or 4, you're like, hold up, I don't have to go back to work. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually done. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to start hitting you, like, and then you're going to go into, like, I feel you're going to go into some sort of like a kind of a lonely phase, like, you know what I mean? Like you're going to feel a little bit alone, but you remember your family's there, you know what I mean? And you just got to talk to your spouse. Then 180 days off, day 90, you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm really done. I'm like, this is it. And get to go out a little bit, get to know the lingo of your of the village. I call it the villages. Get to know, get to know the area, get to know people. Hey, how you doing? And talk to them. We'll see what they like to do. Because again, that's when you kind of see if we can get along. If we have the same things in common, we're going to conversate with each other a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's important because you got to know. You got to know how people move in certain regions in the country.
Yeah.
So you know how to move and counteract that if you need to.
Yeah. And then, maybe, you got 3, say up until like that 91st or 97th, or like 100th day or whatever, put the plan that you have in effect of, working or projects or whatever, start dropping into effect, and then that's when that's your little project, it's not going to fail. Just keep pushing. But then you get to say, like, I get up when I want to get up. I go to bed when I want to go to bed. If I want to stay up until 5 in the morning, I could do so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey man, you are a master or masteress of your craft now. This is your world.
Yeah.
And you've earned it. You've earned it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. This is all about me, when I became a leader, or when I was, I guess, mentored to become a leader, a lot of why I came back in, why I did another 21 years, altogether 25 years in the United States military, field artillery. So, that's pretty much it, man. It's my story. The reason why I'm doing this show is, again, to give back to for people that are thinking about coming in the United States Army or military, I should say. People that are in, mentorship, enhancement, and educate them, and people that are transitioning, soldiers or officers that are transitioning out. Give me a call, or have a mentor that's outside, that's a civilian that was in the military as well. And then, come on out, man. But again, you're not alone. You don't think that you're alone, because you're not. Your family's there for you. You just got to talk to your wife, even though she may not understand your language at that point in time. But sit down and really talk to her and tell her how you feel. Your spouse feels, and let her or him tell them how they feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And go from there, man. Because at the end of the day, command sergeant major, general, or whatever, once you do your change of responsibility or change of command ceremonies, and you walk out that door, to retire, the only person that's holding your hand is your wife or your spouse. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's it.
Yep.
And that's something that's you're going into the honeymoon phase.
All over again.
Yep. So, and that's why I do this show. And to keep close to the community, it's therapy for me as well.
Yep.
Getting to talk to my brothers and sisters at arms, same type of language, and it gives me a purpose.
Yeah.
Find your purpose. Find your zen, and zen and purpose is two different things.
Yeah.
Zen is calm. Purpose is work.
Yeah.
Purpose is work.
Yeah.
The other one shouldn't be work.
That
you know
part.
what I mean? Yep. And
So
you're right.
I want to do something special, and I'm gonna ask you to lower the music real quick in the background. I'm gonna get you to close it out, however you want to close it out. But I want to dedicate this show to Leighton Campbell. Just started yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't know the brother. I saw a video. I was in tears, or for what this brother was, and I didn't even know him.
Man, that's good, brother, man. I knew Leighton, in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and he knew a lot of people that I knew. I took over his battery as a first sergeant. Still kept in contact with him. He helped me a great deal with the battery of the people and personalities. Then, we would talk often. The last time I spoke to him was in September. Was it September? Yeah, it was September, August, September timeframe. We were talking about, retire. I was talking about retiring and everything, and he was like, about time, and he helped me a lot through the transition.
Yeah.
And then, a couple of weeks ago, I found out that, he passed. He went to heaven. The Valhalla, and good dude. Good dude. From Jamaica, from New York as well.
Yeah.
So we had a lot in common. But Leighton Campbell, man, my man, first sergeant. Thank you for a lot what you done for me, man. You don't even know. Rest in peace, brother. You've accomplished your goals and dreams, man. It was just time to go. All right, man. Peace. America, this is the Mark A. Back in Fact, Stay in Effect, and always will be in effect. Apex 07 show. Yeah, we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. It's gonna be Zoom-in meetings. It's gonna be live meetings. It's gonna be, it's gonna be this year. It's gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be doing some things different. You know what I mean? We're gonna do a little more partying, a little bit more sipping, a little bit. But you know what I mean? I just want to let you guys know a little bit about me. And D Brooklyn, thank you for hosting this show and letting people know just a little bit about me and why I'm doing this. It's all about the soldiers. You know what I mean? You know how it is. You was in, and it's important. It's important to give back and not even try to get nothing out of it. Just give back. They gonna just give back. Leaders out there, just give back. Because the future is the soldiers. So that youngest private could be a command sergeant major one day, and the decisions that he's watching you, he or she's watching you, and the decisions that you make now, he may second guess you, and he may make the same bad decisions later. So just think about those things, leaders today, and we're gonna keep it coming. Apex 07, Mark A. Back Stay in Effect, always will be in effect, and my homeboy Kimchi here. Thanks so long. See you next time.
Hey.
9 weeks later, the basic shit done. And then 5 weeks later, I'm in Unit 1 like you son of a what? This body boy done earned him a gun. Make you think about home and who all lost they life to a gun. Shit.
What was the question? I can't remember what the question was.
I don't remember either. It's all good. Hey, and you the one drinking. I remember you drinking Coke. I got a Coke problem. My fault.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing that these those are the type of things that happens. That you. What the hell was that question?
I don't remember because I just came off the top of my head. I don't got nothing written down. I don't remember.
It was something about missing it.